Welcome to HOP. This is David Charles Allen, Realtor at Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, with my great friend and co-host, Patty Teal. I'm doing wonderful today, Patty. How you doing?
I'm doing great too, David. We're getting a little cooler weather here where I am in Florida, and it really feels good.
That's amazing. We're getting a little rain here. So looking ahead, we could have rain for several days and then sunny skies in the 60s. So a little bit of a switch up for here as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So not too much surf to report. We've had a couple close ones, maybe get some waves, but there hasn't really been a consistent swell just yet this year.
Well, I know that when it does come, you'll be out there.
Keep our fingers crossed. There will be a lot of people out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then in terms of how the interest rates perform, it's 5.375 for 30-year jumbo and 6.125 for 30-year conforming.
Now, is that up, David, that 6.125?
So it's going slightly down, but nothing too major.
A little bit down is a good thing.
A little bit down is always a good thing. And then in terms of how the listings have performed, we're going to do 2 weeks since a lot of stuff doesn't usually happen over the Thanksgiving week. So we had 31 new listings, 20 price changes, 33 that closed, 39 that went pending, 10 expired, 6 that went back on the market, and 6 that were coming soon. So 31 new listings, that's pretty small for 2 weeks, but it's expected given the holiday. And then 39 that went pending. So again, not too much buildup of supply, but we still are having a high number of price changes in terms of the listings that are still on the market.
Okay, well, thank you for that report.
Yeah. Any question of the week for me?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because it is an expensive area and many people might be looking for the most affordable options in Santa Barbara, I wanted to ask you about the condo and townhouse choices that come up in the area, their locations, their price points, and also do they gain in value as much as single family homes?
So I think always single family homes are going to gain more value than a condo or townhome, but there's a lot of great townhomes and condos in Santa Barbara. I think the only thing when people think of like purchasing price versus a condo or townhome, you have to take into account the HOA fees of a condo or townhome, and those could be several $100s a month. And I think every $100 fee is equal to $20,000 less in your pre-approval amount. So if you're pre-approved for $800,000, you're looking at townhomes for $800,000, but the HOA's $500 a month, you may only be able to afford $700,000. There's a lot of great townhomes. I don't think the appreciation is quite as high, but it's definitely significant. Instead of paying off rent, you're paying for something you're living in. So that's always a good return as well.
Right, right. And so is there a big difference in those HOA rules and fees? You really have to shop around for that just as you do for your property?
Yeah, there definitely is a huge difference. Some have everything included and you get pool access and stuff like that. Some have only water and heat included or something like that. And each one's going to be a lot different, and you do have to shop around just as much. And that's kind of what happens too, is if someone's looking for a condo or townhome, it takes them a while just to figure out which complex they want to be in. And then once they have that complex, then they have to wait for a home that comes available. So it's the process, just like buying, figuring out what neighborhood you want to be in, except it's more defined by the complex, and the HOA and the location also plays a part in that as well.
Yeah. And I guess the advantage for some people to be in a condo or a townhome is that there's so little maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance factor is great. You do have to just pay out of pocket, essentially. And there are some good townhomes and condos that have good yard space here. So,
are there?
As long as the condo allows you to have pets too, it's another great option if you're looking to have pets and a little small yard space for your animal.
Nice to know that. Yeah. So, David, I also wanted to talk about our fur babies. And I know, let's remind our audience about your pets. Could you just briefly tell them about each of them?
Yeah, first one was Bailey. She's a little Italian Greyhound Chihuahua mix. And then we have Jasmine, which is a Border Collie German Shepherd. And then Moose, which is a Golden Retriever mixed with a Hovawart. And then 2 cats. One's a Tabby and one's a black cat.
Yeah, and everybody maybe has heard me talk about Ollie, my little guy who's barking in the background right on cue. And also, he's a Jack Russell mix of some sort. He's a funny dog. And then I have a pug living here at the house as well, who's my daughter's. And then sometimes I talk about my grand dog, who Riley, the golden retriever. So we have a lot of pets between us. So the topic I thought we'd talk about with them is, do your dogs watch TV?
I actually don't even own a TV, so
Oh, so they don't watch TV. That's interesting. So I had a friend, he lived in Carpinteria, and his dog Nina just loved to watch TV, but she watched it like a person watched it. She was so interesting. If there was a scene where a woman was getting mugged or something, she would just get so upset. She'd run up to the TV, and she must have thought it was real, and she'd start barking and just be in great distress. Whereas other dogs kind of have it in the background, but they might notice if a dog is barking or a doorbell rings and think it's their own. But there's such a variance in how they watch television.
yeah, I've seen that before, like friends' dogs that are just tuned in. So I don't know.
I know, it's very, very funny. So I did a little bit of research, and dogs don't have near as good a vision as people. Of course, they make up for it with their wonderful sense of hearing and sense of smell. But I guess they don't see things near as clearly, and they have two cones in their eyes. You always hear that dogs are colorblind, but in actuality, they more see blues and yellows, and they don't see reds and greens. And I thought that was really interesting. And I don't think it's fair to say that the dogs that aren't watching TV aren't as smart, but there certainly is a difference in the way they watch TV.
There definitely is. Yeah. Some of them are very attentive to it.
Yeah. Well, what about music? Do your dogs and cats like music?
I mean, they're pretty indifferent to music. They actually bark and like try and howl if anyone starts singing though. So they want to
They sing along. That's very funny.
yeah, they try and sing along if anyone else is singing. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, our household, the dogs really like meditation music and things, and it really does calm them down. So I find that interesting as well. I wonder, I have to experiment around to see what tones they like the best.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Well, David, as always, I have to thank you so much for sharing all the Santa Barbara real estate news. Would you make sure and give your contact information in case someone would like to reach out to you?
Yeah, my number is 805-617-9311, and my email is david@davidcharlesallen.com.
Thank you, David. As always, it's great talking to you.
All right, Patty, it's going to be on next week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.